welcome to the demo of Odio, which is our conversational intelligence platform. So Odio is a tool that specializes in analyzing customer interactions across various communication channels such as phone calls, emails, and chat messages. Its primary function is to monitor and analyze these interactions for quality assurance, compliance adherence, and insights generation. Some of the key features of Odio includes conversation transcription. The tool transcribes customer conversations into text format, making it easier to analyze and review interactions. Sentiment analysis. It uses natural language processing, NLP, and machine learning algorithms to determine the sentiment expressed in customer interactions, helping organizations understand customer satisfaction levels. The next is compliance monitoring. Odio can identify compliance related issues by analyzing conversations for adherence to regulatory guidelines and internal policies. Performance metrics tracking. The tool tracks key performance metrics such as call duration, agent response time, and customer satisfaction scores to assess performance and identify areas for improvement. Last but not least, insights generation. It provides actionable insights and recommendations based on data analysis, helping organizations make informed decisions to enhance customer experience and operational efficiency. So overall, Odio helps businesses to gain value insights from customer interactions, improve agent performance, ensure compliance, and ultimately drive better customer experiences. So now I would like to show you that how our tool looks like, what are all the actions and what are all the features that you can use and gain benefit from, where all the analysis and insights are coming. And before getting into the demo, I would like to make it very clear that this is a demo environment with just dummy data, and all the numbers and all the analysis which are coming, all the numbers are coming on the basis of the filters which we have applied. So here we can apply various filters, and according to those filters we'll get the data, we'll get the analysis. So so the first filter is movement. Movement is a specific team or domain, like we have sales team, we have support team, or we can have various different kind of teams, and according to the team we can, whatever teams are configured, whatever movements are configured for your contact center, you can select from here. And then the next filter is COE. COE is center. COE can be different locations of your contact center as well. So for example, you have two contact centers, one is in New York, one is in New Jersey. So you will see two drop downs here, and you can select all, or you can select a particular center which you want to select and see the data. Then you have a date filter. In date filter you can select the duration, a particular date for which you want to see the data, for which you want to see the numbers. Then you can apply those filters from here, and these numbers are there. Then the first section of our dashboard is stats 1. So stats 1 represents the main parameters of your contact center. So stats 1 are the major numbers and values which are going to define and give you an overall picture of how your contact center is performing, like total interactions which happened so like the total interactions which happened with your customers in a particular duration, average interactions happened in a particular day, average duration of a call, like for how many minutes, how many seconds the call is going on, what are the total number of calls that happened in this particular duration, what are the average calls that are happening in your contact center for any particular COE or movement which you have selected, of course. And then how many total fatal calls were there, how many total fatal calls happened in a particular duration. So so basically fatal calls are those calls which didn't meet any crucial important parameter and has a bad score. And so what is the average call score which is going on in the contact center? uh, the call tone, the average call interruptions. So basically how many times a call was interrupted by agent, uh, how smooth the calls are, what is the average audit score, what is the average performance score, what is the background noise, average background noise in your contact center. So yeah, so basically the main and so the very main parameters and the very main numbers which are going to define how well is your support center performing and how good are the numbers. So this, so you will find all the parameters. So basically stats 1 contains all the parameters related to scoring and performance. Section of our dashboard, which is stats 2. So this section represents the comparison between customer and agent. These parameter represents the detailing of calls, like what frequency of agent and customer, how much customer and agent were involved in the conversation, how much agent was able to understand the customer and vice versa, the longest dialogue spoken by the customer and the agent, how much time the customer spoke and agent spoke in calls. So how many times the customer interrupted the call, how many times the agent interrupted the call, was there any rudeness from agent's side, was there any abusive language which was used by agent, uh, was the agent patient throughout the conversations in all the calls. So yeah, so basically you will get to know the inside detailing of the calls with all the soft skill parameters. So this is what our stats 2 section is all about, the comparison between the agent and the customer and the detailing of the calls. On the basis of call score, who's the top performer of your contact center? We can see that. So like here we see German is the top performer, and then after German, Carol is the next. Carol is on the second number, and then Julian is on the third number, and so on and so forth. Similarly, we can see on the basis of call score that who's the least performer in your contact center. So like that, and then moving on to the next section, which is caller distribution. So caller distribution is basically the categorization of calls basis on the call score. So here the red bar represents the bad calls. So calls where the call score is below 80, those are the bad calls. Then then this amber color represents the average calls. Calls where the score is between 80 to 90%, those comes into the label of average calls. And then the green color represents the number of good calls where the score is between 90 to 100. So yeah, call duration distribution. So this is this is the categorization of calls based on the duration of all the calls as per the filter applied. And like mentioned here, the duration is in seconds, so you get the overall idea that how many calls happened along with the duration as well. So here like we can see 3699 calls happened between 0 to 90 seconds. Similarly 595 calls happened between 90 seconds to 150 seconds, and so on and so forth. You get the overall idea of the duration of the calls. So then moving on to our next section, which is movements performance. So movements are audit parameters, and in this section we are looking at the different parameters and their performance in the form of percentage. So basically if a particular parameter was met by agent, then this percentage represents that in how many calls a particular parameter was met. And here via this view all button, you get to see the performance percentage of all the movement parameters in all the groups. So for example, one group is call opening, and in call opening there are various movement parameters. So you will get to know that, so for example, this movement parameter is met 100% of times, 100% of the times, so the percentage is 100%. Similarly, you can see other movement parameters also, uh, and they are segregated as per the groups. Then we have another section which is stats performance. So this is basically all the soft skill parameters, and in how many calls these soft parameters were met. Our next section, which is AHT. So AHT is average handling time, that is, it measures the amount of time an agent spends handling a customer's call, including the talk time, hold time, etc. So overall, in what time a call was handled by the agent. This chart represents that how many calls were resolved in what time. And yes, this time is in seconds. Yeah, so moving on to our next section, which is compliance. So every contact center and its team has some crucial and compliance parameters which every agent has to meet. These parameters are those parameters. If these are not followed, then call score becomes 0 and the call is marked as fatal. So we are giving the count of those calls where these are not followed. So and you can see more detailing into view all button when you click on the view all button. Okay, so then let's talk about these two word clouds, which is agent word cloud and customer word cloud. So keywords, so word cloud contains all the keywords used by agent and customers, and the count of keywords along. When you mouse over on these words, you will see the frequency and the percentage of this particular keyword used by agent or customer in that particular duration filter which you have applied. So for example, email has been used for 83% times in overall calls. Similarly, you can see the customer word cloud as well. So yeah, this was all about a dashboard. This is how our main dashboard looks like, and I hope you have understood the various sections and the parameters and the detailing which is there in this dashboard page. Second option in our left panel is conversations, and in conversation we have three different sections. One is voice, second is chat, and third is email. So Odeo has the capability to analyze not just calls. We have the capability to analyze chats and emails as well. So let's start with the voice option. So when we click on the voice, we see that of course here also we have various kinds of filters. We can mention the group ID, lead ID. We can filter the data as per the file name. We can filter the data as per the agent name if we want to see a particular data of any particular agent. We can filter the data as per the call score. We can apply date filter, call duration. If we want to see or search for any calls with a particular specific keyword we are looking for, we can do that as well. Then all the parameters, we can select what all parameters, what all movements we want to look into the call, and then of course our center. So whatever filters are being applied, you can see all those filters in these little tiny yellow buttons, and then the data is coming as per the filters. So like this particular bar is representing a particular group. So grouping can be done as per the group ID, as per the lead ID, as per the customer name, as per your business requirement. Segregation of groups can be done. So here this is the customer name and this is the customer phone number. We are not showing you the personal information of any customer, so that is why it is hidden. So this, when you click on this particular box, the group, in this particular group in this particular group ID, all the calls which are there, it will come in the drop down when you click on this group. So this group is the group of the this score is the score of the group, accumulated score of the group. So when you click here, you will see the data which belongs to the overall group, so stats and the scoring of this group. So the overall call duration of this particular group is 24 minutes 21 seconds. So that means every call which comes under this group have total 24 minutes of calls. Then there are different stats and the calculation of these particular stats. Then you have movements tab, wherein you can search the movement also, and you can see if any particular movement is observed by Odio, what is the weightage, what is the global average score of that particular movement parameter. You can email these movement parameters if you want to, and yeah, so this is all about the group. And when you go back to this conversation view, you will see all the groups. When you click on the group, you will see the calls under this group. So like I see there are 2 calls in this particular group by the agent Carol. So when, and here if you see in these buttons we are presenting you different recommendations, alarms and movement parameters which has been observed. So for example, this first button is representing the alarm, which is the alarm which is there in this particular call. So in this alarm, as we can see, agent asks the phone number. So agents are not allowed to ask for the phone number for this very particular client only. All this information is very restricted to every client. This is not a generic alarm which you will see in every account. So these are the recommendations. So recommendation that we found the fumbling in this call, which shouldn't be there, and these are the different movement parameter which has been observed in this particular group. And in this particular call we found this 15 different parameters, movement parameters. So this is the agent name, this is the agent ID, this is the agent's phone number, this is the date and time of this particular call, this is the duration of this particular call. So this phone call is of 23 minutes and 31 seconds. So when you click on the view call button, this is the main page of a call. So basically from here you can listen to the call as well, you can see the call score as well. Various controls are there. So let's just listen a few seconds of this call so that we understand that what this call is.
2980. Your birth date. 4/16/72. And your email. KIMMI0149 @ Yahoo. Thank you so much. Okay, so it shows here that you are currently employed at Palco, correct?
Yes.
Do you get paid weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly?
Bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly. Oh.
Okay, so here this is the customers bar and this is the agent's bar. These are the marker which are being observed in the call. So whatever parameters, whatever markers, whatever important information we have captured and we have observed in the call, it will be highlighted here in these bars. So now that we have listened that what this call is purely in English, and let's see what all different parameters and what all different analysis we have for this call. So when we go down on this page, there are different tabs of this particular call. So here we see that there are different stats and the scoring of those stats. So like the total duration is 23 minutes, the call score is 78.82, the background noise is 0 because we haven't found we didn't encounter any background noise in this particular call. The customer engagement was 38.97%. Customer satisfaction was 100% in this call. Is this a fatal call? No, that's why it's 0. Otherwise it would have been marked as 1 if there's any compliance which hasn't met. Then the longest rep monologue, meaning the longest dialogue, is 19 seconds, 19.38 seconds. The longest customer story is 5.16. The patience level is 4.98. So customer ROS is this, seller ROS is this. So in these stats we have the option to like, dislike, and leave a comment for a particular stat. So for example, this is the manager of Carol, who's the agent. If the manager is looking at the different numbers, and if the manager wants to like, dislike, or drop a comment or feedback for Carol, he can do this. That manager can do this from here itself. And when you like, dislike, or leave a comment for any stats or for any stats, that particular agent will see the notification from this bell icon, and he can see the notification from this very particular page in left panel as well. So whatever like, dislike, and comment is happening in the stat section, it will come in the action tab, and you can email these stats as well. If you want to inform somebody, if you want to mail this thing to somebody, you can email it directly. We see that various movement parameters are coming along with the weightage and with the average score. So for example, this where NA is written, that means this particular parameter, this particular movement parameter is not applicable to this call. Where tick is there, the right is there, that means it has been observed by Odio. And where cross is there, that means it has not been observed by Odio. So yeah, and we have this feature of editing the scoring as well. So for example, if any manager or TL is listening to the call, and that manager comes to the conclusion that okay, that Odio has marked yes for this particular parameter, which is assist the caller properly. So if the QA or if the manager thinks that okay, this shouldn't be there in the call, this has not been observed properly, so he can edit it and he can mark it cross. Or if he thinks it is not applicable to this particular call, he can select this as well. And whatever selection is done manually, all the calculations and weightage will be refreshed accordingly, will be redone according to the manual audit. So we have this exciting feature also. So all the parameters which are there, whether they have been observed, whether they have not been observed, if they are applicable to this call or no, it is all mentioned there, and we can change the scoring, and we can see the weightage, and we can see the scoring of average global score for this particular movement parameter. So this was the movement tab, and again you can email these movements if you want to. So the next tab is signals. Signals are some important information and some important parameters which are captured in the call, and if signals are captured, then it will come in the bold form, and you can, so for example, we captured assist signal in this call. So when you can click on this particular drop down assist, because it is bold and enabled, that means it has been observed. So you can click here and you can see that where exactly it has been observed, along with the timestamp of course, and you can leave a comment on it as well. So for example, empathy has been observed in this call, so you can click on empathy and you can see that okay, where it has been observed properly. If you want to read that particular transcript, if you want to read that particular line, you want to read that particular conversation where it has been observed, so you can do that from here. Yeah, and the next tab is questions. Whatever questions has been asked by agent or by the customer will come here. So unknown is basically the customer, because we cannot relieve the because we cannot reveal the customer name. And then we have agent Carol. Agent has asked this particular question and customer has asked these questions. So, and then we have foul language. If anybody has used foul language, it will come under this tab. So in this case, the foul language has been used by the customer. If it has been used by an agent, then in that case it will be definitely marked as a fatal call. But in this case, the customer has used this language, so of course we cannot impact agent's scoring for this. Then the next tab is transcript. In transcript, we can see line by line conversation, who's talking what. So for example, here we are also hiding the personal information, so you can see the whole transcript, and we have segregated the transcript in two ways. One tab is for customer. Whatever the customer is saying, you can see here. Whatever the agent is saying, you can see here. And you can play and pause any sentence from transcript also. And of course you can dislike and leave a comment for agent from this particular section also. It will be reflected in feedback section. So, and then the next, you can email the whole transcript to somebody as well if you want to, from here only, from this very button. Then next tab is summary tab. So summary tab is something which is wherein we are giving you the overall picture of how the call went, what the call was about. So the whole summary of the call you can see from this tab. Pointers. In this particular tab, we are showing the positive and negative pointer of this particular call. So positive pointers are also mentioned and negative pointers are also mentioned, which we have observed in the call. So this is all about this pointers tab. And then in actions, like mentioned before, whatever is getting liked, disliked and commented in stats section, it will come and reflect in actions tab. And whatever like, dislike and comments is happening in the tab of transcript, it will come in the feedback tab. So this was all about the call analysis page of Odio. Then moving on to the next section, which is chat. So in chat as well, more or less the page is looking very similar to what we have in voice section. Here also the grouping is happening, and when you click on the group, there are different chats, and when you click on a particular chat, you can see the chat here. You can see the chat as well. Again, the similar kind of tabs are there: actions, feedbacks. You can leave, you can like, share, you can like, dislike and comment on any particular chat or sentence if you want to. Again, if the foul language has been used, the questions, the movements tab, the stats tab. Similarly, we have the section called email, wherein the grouping and a particular email is something which you can see. So yeah, that's that. We have voice, chat and email sections in Odio, and we have the capability to analyze and capture all the things. Productivity. Productivity tells you that what is the call score of a particular agent and how much is the conversion count of a particular agent. Here also you can select a particular employee if you want to, or if you want to see the data of multiple employees, you can type and select and get the data. If you want to see everybody's data, then you can have this filter select all, and below this we have the filter of date, which you can select as per your requirement, and then on what parameter you want to see the data. So for example, right now we are seeing the graph for the call score metric. Then you can select background noise, customer engagement, and then apply and see. In this tab, the data is coming in the graphical form. Here in this tab, we can see it in the tabular form as well, and we can download it in the form of PDF and Excel as well. Insights, we have comparative analysis. Herein the filters are pretty much same. We have employee filter, we have duration filter, date filter, and then analysis. We can select what we want to, on what basis we want to compare different agents. So for example, right now the selected parameter is verify consumer's account by social security and date of birth. So how many times this parameter was met by different agents? This is the graph which is representing that. So for example, German met this particular parameter 46 times. Then journal is the number for journal is 35, and then Shira. So you can compare parameter by parameter with all the agents. So then the next is duration metrics, wherein the filters are same. Here you are seeing that the call duration against every agent, that how many calls that agent did of a particular duration. So for example, here total number of calls of Bolivar are 296, wherein out of these 296 calls, 264 calls are those which lies between the duration from 0 to 3 minutes. Then 15 calls are those calls which are from 3 minutes to 6 minutes. Then 7 calls are those calls which are from 6 minutes to 10 minutes. So herein you can see every agent's heat map as per the call duration, and this is in the form of heat map, and the same data you can see in the form of Excel as well, and you can download it from here. Then the next section is conversion metrics. In conversion metrics also the filters are of employees and date filter, and here the segregation of the calls are being done in this manner that Carol has total number of 310 calls. Out of 310 calls, 270 calls are quality calls, 28 are meaningful calls, and poor calls are 12 calls. So these are all coming on the basis of call score, and here it is coming in heat map. Here it is coming in Excel format, wherein you can download it in Excel and PDF and see it in the tabular form, which is called Teams. So in Teams, again we can apply the filter that what exactly we want to see, for which COE we want to see the data, from which date to which date we want to see the data, what average handling time we want to see, that what we want to see, what call score we are looking for what call score we want to see the data. So after applying these filters, we'll get this data. And so Teams, in Team section, in this screen, you are looking at all the agents which are there in our contact center, which are in this particular COE, and whose calls are analyzed from this time to this time, from this date to this date, and all the agent data is coming here. So for example, Sophia, whose employee ID is this, has total number of 317 calls, and her role is agent, and her designation is this. her average handling time is this, and overall call score which she's having is 93.85%. And when you can also click on this export to Excel section button, which will give you the report, and you can download this very report from this report section as and when you required, and straight away you can download it in PDF and Excel from here, in PDF and Excel format from these buttons. So you can click on the agent name, and when you'll click on this agent name, you'll see more details about this agent. So for example, if all the information is there, then you will be able to see mobile number, phone number, secondary email, who's the manager of Sophia, what role Sophia is having, which team Sophia belongs to, what is the COE of Sophia. As you can see, it's New York. You can see and then you can see stats as well, that what is the total duration of calls of Sophia, what is the AST of Sophia, what is the rate of speech, customer engagement. So different parameters. What are the total number of fatal calls that Sophia is having. So, and along with the stats, we have movements tab as well, and you can see the scores of these movements along with the group. So for example, in the group of soft skill, we have dead air, high rate of speech, fumbling, assertiveness kind of movements parameters, and here is the scoring of these particular parameters. You can email these movements as well by clicking here, and then there's a tab called word cloud, wherein you will see all the keywords used by Sophia in all of her calls, along with the frequency of those keywords. Then we have recommendation tab, agent recommendation tab. So overall, how Sophia is performing in general. So you can see overall Sophia, good calls are 312%, average calls are 6%, bad calls are 29%. So after looking at this recommendation tab, the manager or the TL or whoever Sophia is reporting can have a direct communication, and can give recommendation to Sophia that okay, so these are the things where you need to improve, these are the things where you can work, so these are the bad remarks, these are the average remarks, these are the good remarks for Sophia. So yeah, that was our team section. Wherein agent wise details are coming, and before concluding, before saying bye, I would like to extend my gratitude to everyone for taking the time to attend the audio demo, and thanks a lot for your attention and participation. Thanks a lot.